Following the confession of Barriss Offee for her role in the bombing of the Jedi Temple, the charges against Jedi Padawan Ahsoka Tano are dropped by the Jedi Council and the Republic. After the trial, the Jedi Council stand around Ahsoka and apologise for falsely accusing Ahsoka of her crimes. Whereas Plo Koon was humble in his apologies, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Saesee Tiin and Mace Windu do not acknowledge the mistakes of the Council, rather regard them as a trial for Ahsoka to become a greater Jedi, not reassuring Ahsoka about her trust in the Order. Yoda and Anakin ask her back, but to the surprise of everyone else, Ahsoka chooses to walk away. Walking down the temple corridor, Anakin chases and catches up with her, imploring her to change her mind. But Ahsoka's mind had been made, even though Anakin admitted to wanting to leave the Jedi Order himself. Watching Ahsoka walk down the temple steps, Anakin watched with great sorrow, and it was another step towards his fall to the dark side. But what if Anakin had left the Order with Ahsoka? How would the Jedi Council react? Would Palpatine be forced to change his plans? As you are about to discover, Anakin leaving the Order would change the fate of the Republic and the galaxy. Standing in the centre of the temple corridor, and far away from the Council chamber, Anakin pleaded with Ahsoka to return to the Order. Revealing that he had thought about leaving the Order himself, Ahsoka remarks that she knew about this situation before walking away. Anakin catches up to her again, and Ahsoka tells her master that she had known about the marriage between Padme and himself. Anakin decides then to leave the Jedi Order, and asks his Padawan to wait for his return. Running back to the Council, Obi-Wan and Yoda can sense that Anakin was about to leave the Order as well. As Yoda had known from the beginning, Anakin would struggle to let go of his attachment to Ahsoka. Nonetheless, it is a shock to Master Windu and several other Council members, as Anakin had been valuable in their war effort. Returning to Ahsoka, they made their way to the nearest clone barracks, where they bid farewell to the 501st Legion, before going to Padme's apartment. The Senator is surprised to see Ahsoka, having expected her to remain in the Order, but Anakin recalls what had happened. Padme and Anakin choose to stop keeping their marriage a secret, and slowly, it reached the ears of Palpatine. The Sith Lord also found these latest turn of events to be unexpected. This was better than he could have hoped, as Anakin Skywalker was a step closer to becoming his apprentice, but Ahsoka Tano was an unwelcome obstacle. Contacting his current apprentice Count Dooku, the order was to eliminate Ahsoka Tano. Turning off the hologram, Anakin Skywalker had walked into his office, and he discussed the events with his mentor. Palpatine asks Anakin to go on a diplomatic mission with Senator Amidala to assess the problems with the banking clan, and Anakin obliges, wanting to be part of the action again. Leaving Ahsoka on her own on Coruscant, Ahsoka entered into deep meditation to search the Force for answers and what to do next. Her session is interrupted by the voice of Qui-Gon Jinn. While she had known about the Jedi Master from Anakin and Obi-Wan, his calling was a surprise. Qui-Gon agreed with Ahsoka's decision to leave the Jedi Order, and tells her that Anakin was the key to achieving balance in the Force, before disappearing but remaining a presence. Qui-Gon diverts his attention to the window, and in a flash, she sees an object moving closer and closer towards her. Rolling to one side, Ahsoka leapt into her speeder and vanished into the depths of Coruscant. Looking behind her, the enormous assailant had survived the impact with Padme's apartment and was still chasing her. Suddenly, Ahsoka's speeder began to fail, and smoke started pouring out of its engine, and she had to use the Force to control her ship, allowing the assassin to get several shots onto her. The assassin moved closer and closer, before it dramatically lurched upwards into a pipe and scarpered away. Sliding onto the cold ground, Ahsoka saw the Night Sister Sarge Ventress, examining what the bounty hunter had left behind. She identified it to be the savage bounty hunter Dirge, a servant of Count Dooku. Both Force users now knew they were targets of Count Dooku, but they could not eliminate them on their own, and needed the help of Anakin. Rather reluctantly, Ahsoka allowed Ventress onto one of her personal freighters, and they took off to the planet of Scipio. The journey was filled with tension and silence, with neither letting their guard down against the other, despite their recent partnership against the clone troopers. Landing on the snowy planet, a guard to the banking clan blocks their path, but soon Padme emerges from a meeting. Seeing Ventress, Padme summons Anakin, and the former Jedi Knight is quick to ignite his blade. Ventress means no harm, however, and the group meet outside to discuss what had happened on Coruscant. Dooku was clearly onto Ahsoka, and the questionable activity of Senator Clovis was not helping their cause. Peering into his office, Anakin sees something suspicious. He sees Clovis talking to the hologram of Count Dooku. Anakin broke the glass with his lightsaber and ripped the holoprojector from the desk of Clovis. Holding his lightsaber to the throat of the senator, he demanded to know the location of Dooku. The senator of Scipio did not wilt under the pressure of Anakin's lightsaber, and he pointed to something outside. Anakin sensed a threat far greater than Clovis, and out of the corner of his eye, he saw the solar sailor of Count Dooku. Completing a force choke on Clovis, the senator slumped to his death on the floor, and Anakin looked out of the window. Dooku's pilot droid serenely landed the ship, and the Count stepped out. The Sith apprentice had been ordered by Darth Sidious to eliminate Ahsoka Tano, but little did he know that he was walking on the road to his death. Dooku beckoned his previously hidden Magna Guards to attack, but Ahsoka emerged from the shadows and with a single remaining lightsaber, dismantled the Magna Guards. Dooku's eyes narrowed, and he locked his focus onto Ahsoka. The Sith Lord raised one of his hands to deploy a force-signing attack, and Ahsoka stumbled back to block the attack with her lightsaber. The Sith apprentice pressed his attack, and Ahsoka was struggling against the relentless power, before Anakin jumped in front of her in defense. Pushing the Sith Lord, Dooku encouraged Anakin to use his hate and anger, and Anakin responded by using his hate for Clovis, and seeing Ahsoka on the ground, to push the Sith apprentice to the edge of the cliff face. Dooku somersaults onto his ship, but from behind a banking clan guard, Ventress used the force to lift his ship. Having recovered to her feet, Ahsoka helps Ventress, and they try to violently tilt the ship to cause Dooku to fall. Dooku, however, pushes the remains of his Magna Guards into the two Force users, and they relinquish their grip on the ship. Dooku regains his balance, and he jumps back onto the platform to clash blades with Anakin. The former Jedi Knight has had enough of Dooku's escapes, and with several powerful overhead strikes, disarms the Sith and brings him to the floor. Pointing his lightsaber at his throat, he interrogates Dooku for more information, but Dooku smirked, stating that Anakin would soon fall under the Sith. Anakin would not relent in his pursuit of knowledge, but was stopped by a blade going through Count Dooku. The previously unarmed Ventress had taken Ahsoka's blade and killed her former master. Anakin was frustrated with Ventress for killing Dooku before he could extract information, but Ventress knew Dooku would never buckle. After completing her meeting, Padme was annoyed at Anakin for killing Clovis, and Anakin did not show any remorse to the Separatist collaborator. Flying back to Coruscant, Ventress is dropped off in the depths of Coruscant, and the rest of the group return to Padme's repaired apartment. Padme is immediately scrutinised by the rest of the senators, both over the deaths of Count Dooku and Senator Clovis. Bringing back evidence of Clovis's collaboration with the Separatists, a murmuring occurs amongst the senators, and Palpatine realises that deploying Dooku may have been a mistake. He would need to have Anakin by his side as soon as possible. Back in Padme's apartment, Obi-Wan had been sent by the Jedi Council to find out what Anakin and Ahsoka discovered on their trip to Scipio, but Ventress had ended any hopes of finding out more information about the Sith. Obi-Wan also reveals the struggles within the Jedi Council following the departure of Anakin, and they were now divided. There was a lack of coordination from the leaders of the Order, and that had spread through to the other Masters and Knights, and the Republic was struggling. The Order needed Anakin back. Anakin refused to accept the offer, not forgiving them for abandoning Ahsoka. Obi-Wan leaves with a sad acceptance, and he was doubting his place in the Order too. After he had left, Ahsoka meditates away from Anakin, and the voice of Qui-Gon could be heard again. The former Jedi Master regrets the fall of Dooku, but Ahsoka's journey must continue. Disappearing into her presence again, Ahsoka follows the wisps of light. An intrigued Anakin also follows, and Qui-Gon allows him to do so. Outside the apartment, Ahsoka and Anakin had taken their speeders in following the wisps of light, and they ended up taking their starfighters. Flying out of the atmosphere of Coruscant, the light suddenly disappears, and they quickly realise they have to use the Force to guide them. The normally reliable navigation computers are at a loss to where they are, as they float to the core of the galaxy, to the wellspring of life. Landing on the light side nexus, the Force priestesses have been awaiting their arrival, and rather than forego trials to become a Force spirit, they're guided to Korriban to try and unlock the secrets of the Sith. The dark side was strong, and Anakin's inner darkness was flickering, but Ahsoka was achieving balance in the Force. Entering the Valley of the Dark Lords, they did not know that they were walking into the trappings of the Sith. As they walked past several impressive monuments, Anakin stopped in his tracks. Ahsoka turned around and saw her master on the ground, clutching his head in pain. If Anakin's eyes had been flickering yellow before, they were now full of pure hate. Getting to his feet, Anakin barely registered the presence of Ahsoka as he made his way towards the tomb of Darth Bane. The spirit of the Sith Lord swelled around him, but Anakin did not fear it. Pushing it into its tomb, Anakin was suddenly pushed back himself to Ahsoka by a cloud of Sith magic. Anakin was no longer possessed, and they could both see a hooded figure in the distance. Running to their ship, the Sith magic chased after them, but they just escape in time to leave the dark side planet. Flying to Coruscant once more, Anakin's experience left him scarred, and he knew the true power of the dark side. A message from his mentor Chancellor Palpatine interrupted his thoughts, and he thought that a talk with him might be useful. Taking a speeder to the office of the Supreme Chancellor, the shaken Anakin senses a coldness he had not felt before his trip to Korriban. Entering the office, Palpatine is nowhere to be found. Walking closer to the wide window, Anakin's eyes cannot believe the sight. The skyline was dominated by separatist destroyers and gunships, raining terror upon the place he had called home. Using the Chancellor's holoprojector to try and contact Ahsoka, he is instead met by the terrifying form of General Grievous. The Kaleesh warrior, who had been largely forgotten in the chaos of recent events, held both Palpatine and Ahsoka, and the anger returned to the former Jedi Knight. Anakin rushed to his starship and flew to Grievous's flagship. Anakin was dodging the aerial droids, weaving from side to side, when he was struck from behind his ship. An overwhelming warning in the Force told him that this new threat was larger, and Anakin started spinning to the flagship. Crashing into Grievous's hangar, his ship disintegrates as the clone squadron soon collides into his ship. Firing their blasters at Anakin, the former Jedi is taken aback, but responded in time to deflect their hits with his lightsaber. With Ahsoka and Palpatine in mortal peril, Anakin force-pushed them all into the firing arms of a pair of B-2 battle droids, and escaped to a turbolift. Cutting a hole in the roof, Anakin leaps through a set of doors above him, and onto a raised platform. Running inside, he does not see General Grievous, rather the hooded figure who had tortured him on Korriban. Rising from his seat, he wordlessly gestured to the corner of the room, and out emerged Grievous. Expecting to fight the cyborg, Anakin jumped down, but he dragged out an unconscious Ahsoka. Anakin aggressively force-pushed Grievous, before the Sith Lord told him that the only way to save her was to join him. Removing his hood, the Sith Lord revealed himself to be Palpatine. A stunned Anakin had to react fast, as Grievous had recovered and attacked him, much to the annoyance of Palpatine. Using his platforms to his advantage, Anakin squashed Grievous underneath one of them, buying him time to carry Ahsoka. But the Sith Lord easily plucked Ahsoka away from his grasp. Anakin was conflicted, until they all heard the sound of the turbolift doors opening. Out stepped Jedi Masters Obi-Wan Kenobi, Yoda, and Mace Windu, who had all managed to survive Order 66. Leaving the protection of the Jedi Temple to the other Jedi Masters, the legendary Jedi duelist had sensed danger on Grievous's ship. Obi-Wan vaulted to the coughing General Grievous, whereas Yoda and Windu attacked Palpatine. Releasing his grip on Ahsoka, Palpatine used his patented force lightning to distract the attackers, and it allowed him to unsheath his lightsaber. As Ahsoka rolled across the floor, she finally woke from her slumber. Finding her lightsabers near the throne, Ahsoka summoned them to her hands, and grabbed a confused Anakin to engage General Grievous. The dazed Anakin is swept aside through a mighty kick from Grievous, and this seemed to bring him back to his senses. Joining the fight against the Sith Lord, Anakin bullied Yoda and Windu out of the way, and using some of his dark side energy, reflected Force lightning back onto the Sith. The Sith stumbled backwards in surprise, and Anakin wasted no time in eliminating the torturer, foiling the plans of the Sith. Behind him, Grievous was surrounded by 4 lightsaber duelists, and his programming could not keep up with the speed. Obi-Wan finally kills his old foe, and the ship begins to rumble. Running to the bridge, they regain control, and the ship descends to Coruscant. Crashing in front of a group of Jedi, they had done a thorough job in clearing the clones. Watching Padme run towards Ahsoka and himself, Anakin had achieved what he wanted when he left the Jedi Order. That is it for what if Anakin left the Jedi Order with Ahsoka. If you enjoyed this, please like this video, turn on your notification bell, and subscribe for more what ifs. And as always, leave a comment on what if you'd like to see next, and how I can improve my videos. Thank you all very much for watching, and see you next time.